This video is sponsored by Pelican. Stay tuned to learn more about their super tough cases for the iPhone 11 and iPhone 11 Pro.
I'm Andrew Edwards, and you're watching Gear Live. With the iPhone 11 and iPhone 11 Pro, Apple didn't just release its best camera of all time, it released the best camera in the history of smartphones. That's a big claim, but before you hit the comments and yell at me, let me show you what I mean. What's going on, Tech Squad? Andrew Edwards here, editor-in-chief of GearLive.com. And as I mentioned, today we are talking about the cameras on the iPhone 11 and iPhone 11 Pro. Everything I show you in this video will have been shot on the iPhone 11 Pro, which has the same cameras as the iPhone 11. So everything is the same with the exception of the telephoto lens, which will be exclusive to the Pro model. Of course, one of the biggest changes and improvements to the iPhone 11 family is the camera system. The new ultra-wide camera and larger aperture on the previous cameras as well. And these cameras needed to compete this year. The iPhone camera led the industry for years, but Google's Pixel cameras in particular have been outperforming the iPhone for about 2 years now, and Chinese phone makers have also been racing each other to add an endless array of photography features. This year, we got the sense that Apple was feeling the pressure and knew that they needed to deliver. So, as you know, the iPhone 11 Pro has 3 cameras on the back. You've got the new ultra-wide camera with an f2.4 13mm lens, the f1.8 26mm main camera with a slightly improved sensor, and the telephoto camera with the same sensor as last year, but a faster 52mm f2.0 lens. The front camera is also improved with an f2.2 12-megapixel sensor, up from 7 last year, and it has a wider 24mm focal length, so it can pull out to a slightly wider angle in landscape for selfies, which makes things look a whole lot better and allows you to fit more people into your selfies as well. Apple has also greatly improved its Smart HDR system. From last year, to my eyes, last year, Smart HDR unnaturally flattened images by aggressively lifting shadows and bringing down the highlights, and crushed details with a ton of smoothing and noise reduction. It appears Apple took all this criticism to heart and made what is now what I believe to be the best camera system ever released on any smartphone. I'm going to tell you why right now. We're going to split this into 3 different sections. Apple has Smart HDR for well-lit and outdoor environments like this one. They've got Deep Fusion, which is for medium light to low light situations. And then for night shots, they've got night mode as well. 3 different ways for your shots to look as best as they can when using an iPhone. So let's break down these 3 main modes, starting with Smart HDR. As I mentioned, Smart HDR is used when you're in daytime and brightly lit environments. Early reports indicate that the iPhone 11 sensor has a higher ISO range and faster possible shutter speeds. But according to Apple, the real improvements are because of a bump from 8-bit rendering to 10 bits and something it calls semantic rendering, which is basically an update to Smart HDR that recognizes individual elements of an image and adjusts them appropriately. So here's how semantic rendering works when you take out your camera. First, the iPhone starts taking photos to a buffer the instant you open the camera app. So by the time you actually press the shutter button, it's captured 4 underexposed frames of what you want to take a picture of. Then Smart HDR looks for things in the photos that it understands. Things like the sky, faces, hair, facial hair, etc. Then it uses the additional detail from the underexposed and overexposed frames to selectively process those areas of the image. Hair gets sharpened, the sky gets denoised but not sharpened, faces get relighted to make them look more even, and facial hair gets sharpened up too. Smart HDR is also now less aggressive with highlights and shadows. Highlights on faces are not corrected as aggressively as they were before because those highlights make photos look more natural, but other highlights and shadows are corrected to get back some detail. The whole image then gets saved and appears in your camera roll, and this whole process just takes about 1 second. And all these improvements to Smart HDR are applicable to all cameras on the iPhone 11 and iPhone 11 Pro. Now let's talk about Deep Fusion. Deep Fusion is meant to offer massive photo gains for indoor and medium lighting settings. And since so many photos are taken indoors in medium light, this may be the best opportunity for improving the most photos for iPhone users. As of this recording, Deep Fusion is in beta as part of iOS 13.2, but should be released publicly soon. I've been using the beta on my iPhone 11 Pro, and here's what I found. The standard wide-angle lens will use Apple's enhanced Smart HDR for bright to medium scenes, with Deep Fusion kicking in automatically for medium to low light. The telephoto lens will mostly use Deep Fusion, with Smart HDR only taking over for very bright scenes. The ultra-wide camera will always use Smart HDR, as it doesn't support either Deep Fusion or night mode. Unlike night mode, which has an indicator on screen and can be turned off, Deep Fusion is totally invisible to the user. Apple doesn't want people to think about how to get the best photo. They just want you to take out your camera, shoot, and let the iPhone handle the rest.
It is computational photography mad science.
By giving Deep Fusion all that time on stage last month, what Apple's really doing is sending the message that the company is focused on making your images look better, and if you care about that, then you should buy an iPhone. In the background, Deep Fusion is doing quite a lot of things, so here's a breakdown of how that works. By the time you press the shutter button, the camera has already grabbed 4 frames at a fast shutter speed to freeze motion in the shot, and 4 standard frames as well. When you press the shutter, it grabs 1 longer exposure to capture detail. Those 3 regular shots and long exposure shots are merged into what Apple calls a synthetic long. This is a major difference from Smart HDR. Deep Fusion picks the short exposure image with the most detail and merges it with the synthetic long exposure. Unlike Smart HDR, Deep Fusion merges these 2 frames and not more, although the synthetic long is already made of 4 previously merged frames. All the component frames are processed for noise differently than Smart HDR in a way that's better for Deep Fusion. The images are then run through 4 detail processing steps, pixel by pixel, each tailored to increasing amounts of detail. The skies and walls are in the lowest band, while skin, hair, fabrics, and so on are the highest level. This generates a series of weightings for how to blend the 2 images, taking detail from one and tone, color, and luminance from the other. From there, the final image is generated. Next up is night mode, but before we move on to that, let me give a big shout out to the sponsor of this video, Pelican. When you're out and about shooting photos and videos, you want to make sure your phone is protected just in case you drop it onto concrete, rocks, or into some water. If you didn't know, Pelican is the brand trusted most by creative professionals to protect expensive equipment like cameras, lights, etc. when on the go. And now that same level of protection is available for your iPhone 11 and 11 Pro. And when I say your phone is protected, I mean it. All Pelican phone cases adhere to the baseline mark of the military standard 810G drop testing specifications, which at a high level specifies that phones are drop tested from a minimum of 4 feet on all corners, the face, and the back 26 times. Pelican Shield cases are 3 times military standard, tested from 12 feet and dropped 78 times. All Pelican cases offer a lifetime guarantee on the cases themselves. If they break, they'll replace them forever. This case right here is the Protector EMS Recharge, which is a combination of a protective Pelican case and a detachable magnetic battery, which provides up to an additional 5.7 hours of video playback. If you're interested in picking up a Pelican case, check out the link down in the description below. Okay, so we've talked about Smart HDR for bright environments and daytime. We talked about Deep Fusion for indoor environments in medium to low light. Now let's talk about the big improvements Apple made for nighttime shots, called night mode. Night mode is an automatic setting which takes advantage of the new wide-angle camera that's in the iPhone 11 and 11 Pro models. It's equipped with a larger sensor that's able to let in more light, allowing for brighter photos when the light is low. Night mode uses the new sensor along with machine learning and the neural engine in the A13 processor to create night mode shots. When night mode is engaged, the cameras in the iPhone analyze the amount of available light, and then the iPhone chooses the number of frames needed to create a suitable image. The camera then takes a series of images for a set amount of time, such as 1 second, 3 seconds, 5 seconds, or in some situations, up to 30 seconds in length. The images are taken at different exposures, some with longer exposures and some with shorter, similar to what's done when the iPhone composes an HDR image. This lets the iPhone pull out the best parts of the scene, highlighting what's important. The resulting photo is the end image that you get when using night mode, with Apple's software algorithms adjusting color, eliminating noise, and enhancing details to create a nighttime shot that preserves an impressive amount of detail. Now, the best part of the iPhone's night mode, in my personal opinion, is the way Apple preserves what nighttime is supposed to look like. We've seen night mode on other cameras, night mode, night shot, nighttime mode, whatever you want to call it, and we've seen it kind of brighten up the image to where it almost looks like the image was taken at dusk, or even in some cases in broad daylight. It's obviously a different style and different approach, but I think it's one that stays more honest and true to the type of photo that you're trying to take in the evening. So obviously photography and which phone takes the best picture is up for debate, and it really is a matter of opinion. But if you think the iPhone just beats out the competition, or if you think the iPhone 11 gets close to the competition but doesn't beat it, the knockout punch for this camera system is gonna be video. It's unmatched by any other phone on the market today. The iPhone 11 family of devices can record video in up to 4K at 60 frames per second from all cameras. That includes the wide-angle camera, the telephoto camera, the ultra-wide camera, and even the front selfie camera as well. When shooting on one of the optically stabilized cameras, even when moving, it looks like you're using a balanced gimbal. The ultra-wide camera is not optically stabilized, but ultra-wide lenses typically don't need it anyway due to exhibiting much less of a shake. The dynamic range when shooting video is incredible, and all the same tools that are available for editing your photos also exist for video now too. If you're in photo taking mode and quickly want to record a video, just press and hold on the shutter button similar to recording an Instagram story, and the iPhone will record a short clip for you there as well. Apple has also added quick settings that allow you to change both the resolution and frame rate right in the camera app, so you'll no longer need to switch over to the settings app to change your video recording settings. All in all, there's better stabilization. All three cameras can now shoot 4K 60, and you can switch between lenses if you shoot at 4K 30 and below. The gap between Apple's video camera and everyone else's was already big, and it's gotten even bigger with the iPhone 11. There you have it, guys. That was my thoughts on the iPhone 11 and iPhone 11 Pro camera. Everything you saw in this video was shot on those cameras, with the exception of when I'm on camera talking to you like this. Any thoughts you have, leave them down in the comments below, and I'll meet you there for further discussion. If you want to see future videos and camera reviews, be sure to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on all future releases. Thanks so much for watching, guys. As always, I appreciate your support. I'm Andrew Edwards, and I'll catch you in the next video.